Hello folks, very warm welcome to another video. I hope this one does find you well, and I hope this one finds you with more flexibility in your movement than our shuffling zombie friends here. Although they're all getting up the stairs all right. They're just pulling the disappearing act when they get to the stairwell, right? To the doorway. But they're all getting in. Folks, welcome to a first impressions video with a difference, or three. Primarily to look at the aircraft on your screen. This is the splendid FlyJSim Q4XP here in X-Plane 12. Yes, it's a first impressions video that's about, I don't know, 4 years late. This one was originally released back for X-Plane 11, I think about 4 years ago, and then brought across to X-Plane 12 and has received some regular updates during the course of its life. I think generally regarded as one of the best turboprop simulations that we have in X-Plane 12. And I recently featured another Q400, a freeware. It was called the Mankey One, which I was quite impressed with. As a piece of freeware, pretty good. And the whole series that he's created, yeah, good for freeware. This is at a whole different level and a very different price point. So this aircraft normally retails for $79 US. That's not the cheapest. It has recently been on sale again for $59. I picked it up at $59 US. Now, $59 US at current exchange rates is about 100 Aussie dollars. Now, that's a fair chunk of change. It's rare that I would spend anywhere near $100 on an aircraft. However, I'm just trying to think the last one I would have. Probably the PMDG's 777. And to be fair, I have got great value from that. I have flown the pants off that thing. Haven't flown it particularly well, but I've enjoyed myself flying it all over the world. I picked this one up the other day, 59 US as I said, 100 Aussie. I picked it up because I've got a bit of an affinity for the Dash series of aeroplanes because of IRL experience, and particularly the Q400. And I was really missing, when I flew that freeware version, it kind of triggered some very fond memories that I had of the Majestic Q400 over there in P3D and how much I enjoyed that. And I thought I'd like to recapture that. I'm not going to install P3D and whatever. And who knows when we're going to get a Q400 for the Microsoft Sim. But we've got a really good quality one here in X-Plane, and I thought, you know what? Even though it's $100, I reckon I'm going to get good value from it. I'm going to go back into the past and kind of try and recapture what it was like to drag this Q400 over my screen, and so that's kind of the context here. First impressions on my channel, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. Thank you for your support. But first impressions are not in-depth looks at the aircraft, right? We don't go into every system. I'm not type rated on the Q400. You're not going to get a real pilot's view of the aircraft. I'm going to skip stuff. I'm going to omit stuff. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to be surprised by stuff that everyone else already knows about. All that's, you kind of, to watch this video, to get something out of it, you need to appreciate that. All right. If you want to go for those in-depth tutorial type videos, plenty of content. This one's been around for 4 years. A lot of the big name content creators have flown this aircraft, and yeah. So all of that's out there, folks. My style of first impressions is just to share it's quite a genuine first impressions. Like, I've flown this aircraft once. I flew it yesterday, short flight, just a kind of a kick the tires sort of thing, to see whether I could remember how to start a Q400. The answer to that question was yes, I can. So I've flown it once. There's a whole lot of discovery that I need to do about this aeroplane. so a first impressions for me is me discovering an aircraft and sharing it with you. Okay. Now, at the same time that the focus here is on this aircraft, we are loading an awful amount of people into this bird. How many zombies? Is someone counting? There will be someone out there, one of those people, who's counting each zombie and thinking, yeah, this is not realistic, mate. You've loaded 193 zombies into a Q400. I'm not watching this shit. I'm going to dislike and I'm unsubscribing. Well, if that's you, please do unsubscribe. This channel must be a very painful experience for you. Couple of things I'm going to add on top of the first impressions of the aircraft. We're going to have a look at a auto ortho type thing. It's not auto ortho, it's the other one, the map enhancement tool. I've just got it loaded up for the first time. I'm going to see what it's about. We'll feature that. And I'm also going to look at a new website, or a website that I discovered a couple of months ago anyway, which will help select our route for today. Because I actually don't know where we're going. I know where we are, but I don't know where we're going. So we're going to find out. We're going to let the universe decide, or at least this app decide, where our journey is taking us today. So let's start there. Let me fire up a little app called NextSimFlight. And welcome to a little tool called NextSimFlight. Now, this app I've discovered, wait, is it an app or a website? I'm looking at my dog as I ask that question. And she's looking back at me as if to say, do you think I can understand a word you say, old man? And do you think that I care whether it's an app or a website? Let's just call it a tool. Hey? Is that all right, little one? She's looking at me as if to say, I'm looking at a tool right now. NextSimFlight, the tool. I discovered this a couple of months ago. I sort of filed it away in bookmarks and thought one day I'll feature this in a video. And I guess that day's come. And what this, I guess the use case for this tool is, if your flight simulation is getting a bit stale, maybe you're flying the same aircraft or same routes all the time and you just want to mix it up. You want some inspiration. Well, a tool like this will help to kind of inspire you, I suppose, by making some suggestions based on your inputs. Now, I'm going to use it to help me find a destination. I know where we begin today, I just don't know where we're going to end up. And where we begin is a little place called Canberra. Canberra. That's how Australians say it, or some of us say it. Canberra. Now, if you know the origin of that pronunciation, share it in the comments. I won't I won't share it with everyone here in the video, but if you know why I pronounce Canberra as Canberra, share it in the comments. You'll put a smile on my face. Begin our journey in Canberra, the nation's capital, and we're going to use this tool to help us select a destination. So we've got a little bit of weather in Canberra. Now, first of all, you've got to select, well, the next step, I should say, is to select an aircraft. Now, we have some categories here, including one specifically for the Dash 8, or fast twin-engine turboprop, and yeah, the Dash 8 qualifies. Or you can select individual aircraft types, right? But I'm just going to select this category. The next thing you choose is the estimated time en route. Now, between 1 and 3 hours, I don't have 3 hours. Let's go between half an hour and 2 hours. What do you reckon? Airport type. Let's go to a regional airport. Scheduled passenger service, I don't care. Weather conditions, I don't care. Has FlyJSim coverage? I definitely don't care about that. Okay, so beginning Canberra, flying the Dash 8, flight duration of between 30 minutes and 2 hours. We're going to a regional size airport. If I click search, it'll go away and do its thing, and it should come back with some suggestions. I don't know how many it's going to come back with. We'll find out. Doing its thing, doing its thing. There we go. Suggested destinations, 20 results. Okay. So it's suggesting Oki, Lismore, Essendon. Okay. Any here that I haven't visited for a while, or perhaps never visited? Oh, all the way down to King Island. Wow. Okay, so these are regional airports. I don't want to go to Tassie. Don't want to go to the Gold Coast. Albury, Burke. Why don't we go to Glen Innes? I don't remember the last time I flew to Glen Innes. Let's do that. What happens? Okay, so it plots a direct route. It shows some weather here. We've got some moisture off the coast, New South Wales. So it gives us some weather information for our origin. We don't have an accurate METAR for Glen Innes. We do have some information. Yeah, the runway's going to be fine in terms of the length. Yep, okay. So there you go, folks. NextSimFlight has determined that we're flying from Canberra to Glen Innes. So I'm going to go over into a little nav map, get it to plot me a route, export that out, bring that into the Q4XP, and the next time you will hear my voice will be inside the VC, and I'll give you some thoughts as to what I'm discovering about this aircraft. And welcome on board, folks. I always liked the flight deck of the Q400. There's something about it. Perhaps it was just familiarity. I got very, very used to being in the Majestic, and yeah, so I've got it cold and dark. I will start this aeroplane cold and dark. I'm not going to show that here in the video. Lots of other channels to take you through that sort of tutorial style. In terms of first impressions of what the flight deck looks like, it's impressive. It's what I will say. Weathering on the carpet and on the panels, and the glass looks like it's been cleaned by a bit of a dirty cloth, and there's a difference between the PFD and the ND and the ED over here. It's look at it. Like it's nice. It looks used, as Q400s generally are, right? And look at the stuff on the carpet down over here. If I can sort of get my camera around, I can't. You can see some grotty stains on there on the carpet, and the seats look pretty good. That seat wouldn't be anywhere near that clean if I was sitting in an IRL. You got some coffee cups over here. You got some pens. It's an impressive bit of work, isn't it? We might spend some time in the cabin later, fully modelled cabin, and they've gone to a bit of trouble here with the various little features. Yeah, it's a nice place to be. Coming up to the overhead, switching that view, looks good. There's one thing that's a bit weird. Now, this is just minor, and perhaps it's authentic to the real thing, but you see the change in typeface, the APU control section compared to the engine start section. And then compared to cabin altitude and landing altitude, like that's a different typeface, right? Or are my eyes deceiving me? Is that realistic? I just don't remember that from the Majestic, but that's a nice looking overhead. Bit different if you're used to your A320s and 737s and all that sort of stuff, but you do get used to it, and yeah, it's nice. So what I'll do is we'll consider the texture first impressions bit complete. What I'll do is I'll get the GPU connected. We've got all our zombies on board. I'll get some power into the aircraft. I'll plug some stuff into the box, and then get us sort of pushed back and on our way. Alrighty, welcome to the taxi segment, folks. Engine start obviously has been achieved. We're on our way down to the bottom of runway 17 for our departure out of Canberra this morning. Everything fine with the startup process. Sounds fantastic. Handles on the ground like I remember the Majestic handling, roughly, although I'm going back a long, long way to remember the Majestic. What have I got here with my... There we go. Back into the disc. Idle. There we go. Trying to work out that little gate thing. Taxiing way too fast. All of 20 knots. Here we go. Bottom runway 17. Got all our lights already sorted. Only thing left to do is make it happen, I think. Flaps are set, trim's set. Get rid of that. Bring those props up to maxi. It'll be a norm bleed takeoff. Runway 17 Canberra. V speeds are in. 121 is our rotate. Runway heading for a bit, and then it's okay. Left circuit. Let's do it, folks. Here we go. Power set. Airspeed's alive. Oh, rolling beautifully. Sounds great. And we'll rotate. Easy does it. Up into the bars. Positive rate and all that. Just follow the flight director for the moment. Get rid of those flaps. I might get Georgie actually doing some flying here if you don't mind, sir. Your damper? No, sorry, your damper should have been on. That was already on. So LNAV, good. All right, we want to go into, we'll go Alt Cell and we'll go to IAS mode, 185. Thank you, Georgie. 230 is our flight level. Good. Does the weather radar work in this thing? Have I got it switched on? That's terrain. That's weather. I think I've got it switched on. Back our props. Take an external. See some of that map enhancement tool thing. Not the best, is it? Hopefully we'll be able to see that better somewhere en route, folks. Safely away out of Canberra. I'll see you again a couple of times en route, folks. And welcome to the cruise. We're at flight level 230. Everything going really well. Ah, it's nice to be back in the dash. Specifically the Q400. One of the best looking aeroplanes. For mine, certainly the turboprop category. Still plenty of them flying around different parts of the world, in there. Lots of them here in Australia under the QantasLink banner, and other airlines as well. I don't know about the I don't know whether any other airlines fly the Q400, but certainly the earlier models of the Dash. And what we're seeing here is the map enhancement tool, the ortho thing, streaming ortho. That's the term I was looking for, and that looks all right for mine. Certainly from 230, it looks all right. I did try the auto ortho tool. Didn't have the greatest of success with it. It seems to drop out a bunch of tiles, and I wasn't too impressed. This one seems to work better in my very limited testing experience here of one flight. It's only sort of a third of the way in. Yeah, that's nice. I don't notice any, jump back inside, don't notice any sort of performance impact. It takes a while to set up. Like, you've got to download a package. I've downloaded the Australia Pacific package, I think it was. Just check our airspeed here, getting along alright. TASing at 338. Damn, this thing gets along the ground well. Yeah, it takes a little while to set up. You've got to sort of configure it. There are instructions which were clear enough for an old man to follow. I'll link to the map enhancement tool in the description, folks, as well as that other tool we looked at that selected our destination for us. And there will be a link to this aircraft itself. And I'm also running with a glass mod. So you can see that the windshield is pretty bloody dirty. Well, some kind fella has created a mod which kind of cleans the windshield, which I'm liking, but still leaves a little bit of dirt around the edges. And you can get a full clean glass, but that looks too clean for mine, particularly when you come inside the VC and you can see it's used. Well, the glass would also be used, but yeah, I like it. I'll link to that in the description. You just got to replace an image file in some folder somewhere. Anyway, instructions will be on the page that I link to, folks. Yeah, so enjoying it. In the next segment, we might jump in the back and explore the cabin a little bit. And we have a fully modelled cabin behind this door. This is the lav door. Let me just close that, folks. Will improve the aroma in the cabin no end. Let me just sort of shuffle my way back here. Just have to forgive me. There's the FA seat. Stairs, door, FA sort of panel. Yeah, okay, those sort of things don't really interest me that much. I'm a pilot, not a flight attendant. Not that there's anything wrong with being a flight attendant. I just prefer to be up the front. So that's the lav there. Open that door. Lav. Close that door. I don't know, are there any Easter eggs in the lav? Perhaps. Can this open? What's behind that door? Crew only. Is that is that a hold of some sort? It's more like a bloody prison cell. I'm guessing that's the forward hold, right? Alright. Can we get rid of that? We'll close that. Crew only. It's alright. I'm a member of the crew, folks. These open? They do. Wow. Alright, I'm going to guess that the shades go up and down. Let's have a look at that. I'll just sort of shrink myself a bit. The shades, they go. Of course they do. Look at that. I wonder if they remember the last position that they were in. What do we have up here? Any of that stuff works, or was that controlled from the other panel? Don't know. I won't go all the way to the back, folks. There's probably some Easter eggs awaiting me back there, but I'll save you the trouble. Anyway, the cabin. I said I'd take a look at it, and I have. That's my first impression of it. The seats are quite impressive, aren't they? They're not very comfortable IRL. Trust me, someone who's planted their ass on here more times than I care to remember. They weren't that comfortable, but they got the job done. And yeah, the step up into the flight deck. Oh boy, that brings back memories. So the only other feature that's kind of really caught my attention is the EFB, or what Mr. FlyJSim calls the Jpad. Just let me change or turn off the physics camera thing so we don't make you sick. And yeah, this is all right. The Jpad. This is the sort of home screen. Tells you a little bit. So current version 1.38.1. If you're interested. It tracks by livery, so yeah, total flight hours, first flight, that I've made. We're currently in cruise and we're loaded in more ways than one. Some payload info, 54, all the other stuff. What else can we do? See more. So yeah, your change log. So last updated May 29 of 2024. You see before that it had a bunch of updates. Can I scroll down? No, doesn't matter. What comes after that? Anything? Aircraft. Oh yeah, it tells you who created the livery. Speedbird. You can change your information about. You can specify your captain and your first officer. Change information about your aeroplane. Yeah, so it's tracking data for each airframe. So total flying time for me is 1.6 hours. So this is my second flight. Don't know where it gets 3 flights from. This is my second flight, not my third. But anyway, how many passengers I've transported? 234. There must be there's a ghost flight in there somewhere. Airframe time 1.3. Anyway, what else? Back to home. What else can we do? So weight and balance, and it actually, it shows you who's sitting there with the boarding pass. That's really cool. I guess the next logical or evolutionary step would be to actually show the passengers when you're in the cabin view. But that's for another year, another decade. Minor Bush, Will Perez, Karen Allen, McCartney Nelson. There you go. Gives them names and everything. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so your payload info there, and you can configure it. Next load, you can change that, get it ready. So sort of, if you're doing a multi-leg journey, you want to sort of simulate the airline environment, you can do it. You can change all these sliders, and gives you all that stuff. Load summary, gives you the chart and all that. It's pretty well done. Hey, it comes with a whole bunch of checklists, which of course I have completely ignored, and some general settings. And that's how I've got mine configured. I've just turned off that control display thing. I had it on fade away, but it doesn't seem to fade away too often. It seems to stay. It's that blue thing comes up there, that thing. I don't know whether it's because I've got my my hardware's out of sync with where the software wants me to be. I don't know. Anyway, I've just disabled it. Yeah, and credits. A whole bunch of people did such good work on this aircraft. Of course, Mr. J from the FlyJSim, our friend Jack. There you go. That's the Jpad for you, folks. We're going to be in Glen Innes pretty bloody soon. Tamworth in 20 minutes. We don't have that far to go. Glen Innes in 36, yeah. Anyway, I will next see you for an approach segment. Well into our descent at this time, folks. Got to say, I've been pretty impressed with this streaming ortho. I may not be as impressed as we get closer to the ground, but it's decent. Certainly up in the flight levels, you're dare I say, almost looks like the Microsoft SIP. It uses. I've been using the Bing imagery for what it's worth, and I'm just using the free one. I'm just essentially trying it out, but so far so good. Anyway, we're setting up for an approach, visual approach down to runway 32 at Glen Innes. Alright, establish runway 32, Glen Innes, folks. Just need to get ourselves slowed down a little bit. This thing is quite a challenge to hand fly. Yeah, terrain. Get rid of terrain. It'll be a flaps 15 approach. We are coming in hot. Gear down, flaps set. Props can go full. That will help. Retrimming. Looking for about 117. We're about 20 knots high. We have quite a crosswind. We're getting low on it. Getting very low on it. Low and fast. Runway 32 Glen Innes, folks.
40, 30, 20, 10.
That was Horror Bubble. That was a very, very poor approach. Rescued only by a rather large squirt of power.